Hello, this is Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today I have a very special guest because this is a guest that I used to work with in the past. So please welcome Cathy Kusuma with Atlas Ocean Voyages. Welcome
Ah,
to our segment.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're so pleased to have you with us today because you represent a cruise line that is relatively new to the market, and maybe a lot of people haven't heard about it, but you have a very special, very unique product. So I wanted to introduce that to our followers. So why don't you tell us about Atlas, who they are?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, Atlas Ocean Voyages is, like you said, a new product. We're breaking into a kind of a new category in the travel world. So we are a luxe adventure brand is kind of how we describe ourselves, and that meaning that we play in both the luxury space when it comes to the cruise industry, but also the expedition and adventure space as well. So we have one ship that will be coming out in the summer of next year, followed by four more ships, two in 2022 and two in 2023. Really small expedition style ships, but again, we're kind of marrying the luxury market with the expedition travel market too. So it's super exciting to be a part of something like this. It's a really, really unique and I think an opportunity for us to fill a niche, kind of a void that doesn't quite exist there today. So we're going to be traveling all around the world. We have our itineraries for our first ship, the World Navigator, that will be setting sail starting next summer. She'll go through Europe and the Mediterranean. We'll do a transatlantic over to the Caribbean, do a deep Caribbean, a couple of cruises down the east coast of South America, end up in Ushuaia in Argentina to start our Antarctica season. And the cool thing about it is when we're in warm water destinations and doing some warm water cruising, it's all about the destination experience and having some unique type of shore excursions that'll go along with it in an all-inclusive luxury space. And then when we get down to the cold water cruising in Antarctica, that's really when we kick in our expedition. We have our 18 Zodiacs that will be setting sail. And we, because we are a class 1 polar vessel as well, we'll be able to navigate through Drake's Passage, and we'll be able to do 2 landings a day in Antarctica. So you actually get to walk around and see all the wildlife, the penguins, the seals, the whales, and everything. So it's really super fun product that kind of takes you from a luxury standpoint to fun and adventure and exciting, and we try to marry the two. So it's a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, I bet. And it sounds like a lot of fun to be able to present it to people and a lot of fun to sell as well, because
For
it
sure.
does play in the luxury market and the expedition market, but it does not look like an expedition ship what we have
No,
seen
not at all.
traditionally.
That's her
So
behind us, her behind
yeah,
me.
very, very beautiful. And so I mentioned earlier, you and I have actually worked together at Cruise Planners, but you've been in the travel business a long time. Why don't you give us kind of your background, when you started and what you've been doing?
Wow, so I've been in the travel industry working since 1998. I started when I was 20 years old. I started my career on board cruise ships. I worked on board in the entertainment and the shore excursions departments for Holland America Line, and I sailed on board, like I said, for 5 years all over. Greatest experience ever. I really, really loved it, and it's in my blood. Prior to that, when I was really young, my love of cruising started with my parents. I'm an only child. My parents cruised a lot, and they took me on my first cruise when I was 7, and I just fell in love with the sea and did a lot of those cruises. So I knew it was my destiny to work in this industry, and I've been here ever since. But after I got off ships, I worked for the PPI group, or Porthole Cruise Magazine. I was there for a number of years, helping to run their shoreside guaranteed or recommended shopping program. So I hired shipboard staff to go on board. And then I moved over to Cruise Planners, and I was there for a very long time in charge of their training department, as well as doing some sales. And prior to me being with Atlas, I was back with Holland America Line and Seabourn as their director of field sales. And I was there for about a year and a half. And then I had this opportunity come up just recently with Atlas. And it's really super exciting. We have a great team. I really love who I work with. It being kind of a small startup division of a larger company has been super fun because you actually get to see all the different aspects of building a company and building this really cool cruise brand into what we want it to be, and getting to talk about it and getting people excited about it has been awesome so far.
Great. Yeah, and we're very excited about it as well. And so perhaps you could tell us, other than the luxury and the expedition part, what are the major differentiators between Atlas and perhaps some other companies that play in the same space?
Sure. So because we are luxury, we are all inclusive as well. So what we like to say, we're all inclusive all the way, which means, we are comparable to other luxury cruise lines. We actually include more in our cruise fare than most of the others. There's only one or two others that include the same amount as we do. So we include select shore excursions and ports of call depending on the cruise. We include obviously all of your food and drink on board, gratuities, everything you can think of there, including the standard Wi-Fi. So we really want it to be an all-inclusive experience. But the biggest thing is we also include airfare, which is super huge. So that's part of the package that we include. So we want your experience to start from the moment you leave your house and board that airplane to go to the first cruise port and the embarkation port destination. We want that moment you step on board to be part of this experience and part of your travel. So we've got a lot of really cool things to offer. And again, because we have that luxury feel to it, we also want to make sure that it's a fun feel. So I think a lot of times people have a perception of luxury being a little bit stuffy or a little bit fancy or formal, and that's not what we're looking for at all. We want it to be a very relaxed, casual atmosphere where people can get together and who are like-minded, who can go out there and have these really unique experiences and share them with people that they're traveling with and people that they meet when they're on board, and just have that really great experience. Our ships are really small. They're just under 10,000 tons, so really tiny, very, very nicely appointed. But we do definitely have the ability to go into some unique ports of call because of the ship size as well, which makes us a little bit unique and stand out from some of the other brands that have larger ships too. So yeah, there's a lot of differentiators there that kind of set us apart. But again, more of the atmosphere and the vibe that we want to have on board is for those that like the finer things, but also have an adventurous spirit. We'll have some really cool, very adventurous options and opportunities for people in our shore excursion program. We're going to have 3 different levels, from kind of your standard mild to moderate to some actual vigorous type shore excursion opportunities, which will be really neat. We want to make those stand out. So we'll have everything, something for everyone on board. We'll definitely have your standard city tours. We might do some walking tours, some cultural experiences, but we're also going to offer things like hang gliding and skydiving and really fun, adventurous things that I've seen. We're working on all of those right now. And there's some really cool opportunities there. But again, doesn't mean that you have to be into all of that crazy adventure stuff. If you are, this is a great opportunity for you. But if not, as long as you're adventurous in spirit and just really like to go and explore and see different places and unique ports, that's really going to be a great fit for them.
And I appreciate that you mentioned the small port experience, because that also means when you're in port, most likely it's just going to be those that are on the ship with you that are going to be disembarking in that port. So not the big crowds that sometimes we see in some of the other destinations.
For sure. In fact, most of our itineraries, some of them may start and end in some of those larger ports just because of the airlift and getting to and from. But the majority of the ports that are visited along the way, you'll notice in our itineraries, are smaller for that purpose, because we feel that our clientele and the people that we're trying to attract to come on board are port collectors. They're people that are already well traveled, that want to see new and exciting places. Maybe they want to go in and venture these small towns and experience something a little different off the beaten path that others may not be able to enjoy on a larger ship if they go somewhere. Just, you know, due to the sheer size of the vessels, our ships will be able to go in and explore. And because we have the Zodiacs, we're going to use those a lot whenever we can. We'll have tenders as well, but most of the time we're going to use our Zodiacs to get people into some smaller and unique places. So it'll be kind of a different overall experience, and again, more of that port intensive immersion kind of experience there, but a little bit of fun too.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe owning your own yacht experience.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
and so because we're talking about itineraries, what do you think will be over the next couple of years, maybe the one or two most popular destinations that you're going to be offering?
Well, right now we have our itineraries released for our first ship, World Navigator, and that is again starting next summer in 2021. She's going to actually start her journey in Europe, so she's going to do quite a few Aegean Sea, Black Sea, Holy Land, Western Med. So be doing a lot of those. Really unique, again, some small port and unique itineraries there in Europe. And then she will do a transatlantic crossing from Portugal over to Barbados. And when she gets to Barbados, she'll do a couple of deep dive Caribbean cruises, and then she'll make her way down the east coast of South America, stopping in some really cool ports, even stopping at the mouth of the Amazon, which will be really cool. And then end up at the very tip of Argentina in Ushuaia, and that will begin the Antarctica season for us. So I really truly think, I mean, obviously I'm biased, so I think all the itineraries are going to be awesome. I think the one that will be the most popular will be Antarctica, because it's on a lot of bucket lists out there. And because we are a Class 1 polar ship and we can get in to Drake's Passage, we can navigate through ice, and our captains are obviously especially trained to be able to do this, and we leave it up to the captains as to the weather of the day, as to where they're going to make their landings. I think that'll be something really cool. So every cruise that is taken in Antarctica is going to be different, just based on you know, the captain's choices, the weather conditions that day, the time of year, you name it. Every single experience and every day will be different, and the weather changes very, very quickly in Antarctica. So being able to kind of shift and go with the flow and move to different places and to see unique things will be really cool. So I think Antarctica will definitely be at the top of the popularity list in terms of itineraries that we've released so far. But I truly think that a lot of the Mediterranean cruises that are published right now will be super popular too. I think there's just something iconic about a lot of the different ports of call in the Western Med. We've got some really cool Holy Land trips too. I think, you know, people can come back to Europe. Even though you've been once or twice, even 5 or 10 times, there's always something different to see, something unique to see there. So I think those will also be super popular.
Sure. And for those that are listening to our segment, I will actually include a couple of links to some of these cruise itineraries for you to get a little more information on them.
Awesome.
And Cathy, who do you think would be the ideal candidate for this type of travel?
So we are definitely multi-generational. We want to make sure that people know that travel is a special type of opportunity for you to connect with people that you want to be with. It's rare. Some people travel alone, but it's fairly rare. Most people travel with others that they want to share these experiences with. So our typical traveler is going to be someone who enjoys the finer things and likes some of the luxury appointments that you can find in luxury travel, whether that be via land or via sea. But also those that have an adventurous spirit, are looking to do something a little different, go off the beaten path, enjoy something that they can talk about that other people maybe have not been able to do. Or those that are interested in having some truly cultural experiences that will, you know, give them more to talk about. I think these aren't necessarily trips for people that collect things, but collect experiences. You know, I think our our ships will be open to everyone. We definitely will have a variety of different staterooms, even though we only have 98 staterooms on board because our ships are very small. We do have a variety of different ones, from one-bedroom suites. We've got some different types of balconies too. We've got the Juliet or French style balcony cabins, and we also have those that standard balcony that previous cruisers might be familiar with. And we also have a handful of outside staterooms too, just to kind of mix things up. So we'll have that. We also will have triple cabins available. So if there is a third that wants to come in the cabin, so we are family friendly. We do have an age limit for Antarctica for safety purposes with the Zodiac, since that's 8 years old. But we're not going to focus necessarily on children's activities. We won't have a children's program and that kind of thing, but we do welcome people of all ages and families to travel together as kind of a multi-gen experience. I think we're going to find that we'll have some traditional cruisers that are interested in trying something new, a new product, a smaller ship. And then I think we're going to find some cruiser or some travelers that maybe have never cruised before. Maybe they've been focused on land vacations in the past. I think a lot of people might be interested in testing the waters here because we kind of marry the two. We try to bring a lot of land and unique adventure type experiences to our trips. So I think we'll have kind of combination of the two of those.
Sure. Well, that includes a lot of people, but I do like the fact that people that have been used to luxury travel, but by land only, or perhaps have done a river cruise in the past, but want to have that ocean cruise experience and maybe go to a place like the Antarctica and see the penguins. This
For
is the
sure.
way to go and do it. And so this is my final question, Cathy, and I know you've been doing travel for a long, long time, but if you were not in travel, what do you think you would be doing?
I'd be on Broadway.
Oh, very good.
Well, I mean,
Good for
can't you
you.
tell?
In a leading role for sure.
Aw. No, I love theater and that kind of thing. So I think I would probably do something along those lines, or something artsy, something fun. But my heart's in travel. I don't know that I could ever get away from travel completely, but I would definitely have to do something that would allow me to be able to see the world at the same time.
Sure. Well, I want to thank you for being with us today. It's been very informative, and I hope that our guests, our listeners, are looking at this new product and saying, we really want to try that. And that starts by
Awesome.
giving us a call at Salty Breeze Cruise Planners. We help create lifelong lasting memories, and we're available at 888-332-8202. Give us a call. Thank you, Cathy.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Bye-bye.